This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase. But did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2016 BMW 435i X. Up front is a 3.0 liter turbocharged inline 6 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. If you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive. We'll be writing a complete article about the 435iX. As well as if you guys would like to see my videos early, head on over to patreon.com/shootingcars, where for only $2 a month, you can see all my videos before they're made public here on YouTube. But let's get back to that inline 6. BMW is known for their inline 6s. They've been using inline 6s for such a long time, and this one gets the turbocharged treatment. I really like their inline 6s. I think they're really smooth engines, and of course, you know, with a larger car with all the safety features, the addition of the turbo really makes it a very nice driving experience. All right, so 3-liter straight 6 with a turbo. We'll put it up into Sport Plus. Oh, there's power. There's power when you want it. Oh, man. The 3-liter inline 6 does not mess around. It does not. That is very comfortable for a luxury car. It's not in your face. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rip your eyeballs out. But any Honda Civic you see, you're going to rip its doors off in traffic for sure. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Nothing to complain about here. It's an 8-speed. It's not annoying when it shifts. You know, older 8-speeds, they seem to be shifting every waking moment of the day, and it just gets to be too much. But this, no issue at all. And then, because this is the X in the name of the car means that it is all-wheel drive. So it has BMW's X-drive system, which I really like. I've never really had anything to really complain about with the X-drive system. I think it handles situations well, so there's no complaints there. Although there is no way to turn off the all-wheel drive, it is all-wheel drive all the time. So let's get onto the interior, because that's part of the reason why I wanted to review this particular BMW. Well, in front of me I have 4 gauges. On the far left is my fuel, center left is speedometer, center right is my tachometer, and then on the far right is oil temperature. I really like the gauge setup. BMW has always made some of my absolute favorite gauges out of any cars, dating way back to the 80s in their E30 BMWs. Those cars had amazing gauges. The E36s had great gauges. The E46s had great gauges. And that legacy really does carry on. I like the hard borders around the gauges. I think it looks good. I think it looks sleek. But also, this BMW integrates some screens in with the gauges. So at the bottom, I do get a little screen giving me the outside temperature, miles till empty, stuff like that. On the bottom of the tachometer, there's a little gauge that says efficient dynamics. What this is basically how efficiently you're driving, but that goes off the fact that there is the start-stop feature. So, which for those of you who don't know, the auto start-stop feature, whenever you come up to a stoplight, after driving, even though the car is still on, with your foot on the brake, the car will turn off to save fuel as well as lower its emissions. I absolutely hate this feature just because it's so clunky, it's so noisy. I don't hate the fact that the car turns off, but it's unsettling to me. I drive a 1985 Mazda RX-7. When it shuts off in traffic, that's my whole day. I have to call someone, I have to push it. And so from that sort of PTSD, when the car shuts off at stoplights, it's worrying to me. It really is. So I prefer my cars not to do that. Now, some auto manufacturers do not put a switch to toggle that on or off. Thank the Lord BMW does. You just come up right above the start-stop button, you hit it, and then whenever you come to a stop, the car will no longer shut off to save fuel. I absolutely love that. Thank you, BMW, for doing that. It makes a world of difference. On the steering wheel, I have on the right is my volume controls as well as Bluetooth phone, stuff like that. And on the left is cruise control. The steering wheel also gets paddle shifters, which I think is a really nice feature. To the left, I just have my headlights, And then my window switches, which, let's see if the rear one touch down. Are the rear one touch back up? Yes, they are, although they don't go fully down because of the way the door is shaped. In the center, I have a pretty hefty sized infotainment system. It is not touchscreen. It is controlled by the joystick, which we'll get to in a second. This is your navigation, radio, multimedia, contacts, vehicle info, all of this stuff. Let's head on down here to vehicle info. Let's just check the vehicle status. Engine level, okay. You can monitor a bunch of different stuff. You get your tire pressure, all of that sort of stuff. Here, we can go back to menu. We have multimedia, settings. I really like BMW's infotainment system. I think it's sleek. I think it's relatively easy to use. This particular year of 2016, they do not have Apple CarPlay, which I wish that they did, but also that was coming up on almost 3-4 years ago that this car was made, so I can't really fault them too much for that. I wish it had Apple CarPlay, but then again, I wish all cars had Apple CarPlay. Down below the infotainment system, we have a huge CD player, which I'm a little interested that they still have CDs in 2016, but then again, they still have CDs in 2019, so I don't know when CDs are going to get phased out. Hopefully soon, so auto manufacturers stop wasting money on them, but if you buy a 2016 BMW, you do get a CD player. Then you have your climate controls, heated seats, which I am pleasantly enjoying. Cup holder. Then you have the shifter. I don't like these shifters. I really don't. I don't think that they're intuitive enough for new drivers who aren't familiar with BMWs. Because what you have to do is you have to press the side button and then put it either up into reverse, down into drive, or park is a totally separate button on its own. And so it's just not very intuitive, and I don't like how when you put it somewhere, it doesn't stay there. It goes back to the middle. I don't know. I can't warm up to shifters like this. Maybe if I daily drove one, I'm sure I would get used to it, but I don't know. Just not my thing. But next to the shifter on the left, you have your traction control off button, parking sensor on and off button, and then you have a couple different drive modes. So right now we're down in Eco Pro, and this says efficient oriented settings. So we can move it up to comfort, which the screen literally just says comfort, nothing special there. Move it up to sport. It says sport oriented drivetrain and chassis settings, and everything turns red. But then we can go up one more into Sport Plus. This says Sport Oriented Settings, Traction Control Active, which I don't know why it says active. It literally just shut off traction control. But that is for more spirited driving, of course. Now, the interesting thing is when you do put it into Eco mode, it actually switches to charge and power in Eco Pro underneath the tachometer, where in every other thing, it's just a battery. To the right of the shifter, you get the joystick I mentioned earlier. That's how you control the infotainment system. Scroll left and right to go up and down, and then you can actually move the whole joystick itself. Then you have buttons for telephone, media, radio, and navigation, and then below it you have back and option. It's a pretty nice joystick. I really do like it. I think it's a lot more intuitive than some other cars, and I like its position. It's right by your hand. You don't have to move it all that much from its natural resting place. I really like that. I do think that that's a really good design on BMW's part. The speakers are Harman Kardon. Is that how you pronounce it? Harman Kardon? Is it Kardon? Harman Kardon. Harman Kardon. Harman Kardon.
Harman Kardon.
It has nice speakers. So we'll do a backseat review, and then we'll talk about why I wanted to review this car. All right, so we're in the back of the BMW, and a couple things to note back here. First of all, I do have a center console that folds down. Press this button here, and it sort of opens up like a trap door to hold your drinks. I think that's pretty neat. Down on the center console, I do have my own adjustments for the climate control, as well as 3 different settings for heated seats. I have a 12-volt charger. I have 2 speakers in either door. The only thing I don't really like about the back seats is that they kind of they have a really gradual curve towards the door, which looks aesthetically great, but you kind of sit a little cockeyed, a little sort of tilted, I guess. I don't know why they did this. It's not very comfortable. I'm sure a smaller person would have a lot better of a time, but for me, I don't know if you can notice that I'm sort of like almost facing the passenger. You like tilt inward, or like it feels like I'm sitting on my wallet or something. You know, honestly, I really can't get over the shape of this back seat. It's weird. It's not very comfortable. The seats themselves, they're leather, they're decently plush, but I feel like I gotta sit like this. So the interior is red. I was walking through Toyota's used car lot, and I asked the used car salesman, I said, what about that BMW? And he goes, well, he told me what it is, and then he says, it's white with a red interior. And I said, I have to drive it because red interiors. Honestly, I think this red interior is pretty cool. It's definitely unique. I love the white and red contrast. I think it looks great. My only thing is that it's red, but it almost like it has a little splash of pumpkin in it. I don't know what it is. It's not the brightest of reds. I wish that it was like 80s red, like red. But that being said, you just can't find many cars with red interior options anymore. And so I love that BMW is still doing it. I love that they're still out there creating fun, cool, interesting color combos when a lot of people don't anymore. Let's talk about looks real quick. I think it looks great. I think the M4 looks better, but that's performance, and not a whole lot of people want the performance version. So with that in mind, I think this does look great. I love the white color. I just love the look of BMWs. I think they all look pretty sharp. Overall, this is a nice BMW. This is a nice car, really. It's comfortable. It's luxurious enough. This isn't going to be the top of the top, you know. You're not going to have a butler massaging your shoulders while you drive. But this is still a luxury vehicle. The road noise is rather low. You definitely have that power to pass whoever you want. I'm really comfortable driving this. I think the climate controls are great. The infotainment system is very intuitive. Overall, this is just a good experience. And this is definitely a car that you can come out of the house, you can pull up to a party, and you can be proud of it. I would love to own one of these just because I feel like driving a luxury car is ever so slightly a stress reliever. It would just be so comfortable. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to give a shout out to Toyota of Naperville for allowing me to do this review. Guys, you guys know them by now if you've seen my previous videos. They've been helping me out. They've been giving me cars to review. This is on their used car lot. I'll leave a link in the description below to this exact car if you want to buy this. Don't worry, I'm warming up the seat for you. But another thing that Toyota is doing right now is April is Autism Awareness Month. And right now, if you go to Toyota of Naperville and test drive any car, as long as you are old enough to test drive, which I believe is 18, they will donate $20 to Turning Point, which is a school for autistic kids who can't normally get help in the public school system, who might be overlooked, or some public schools are overbooked. They don't have enough assistants to help out each student. So kids can go to Turning Point. It's huge for their families. It's huge for the kids. They get the proper education they need, and you can help them literally just by test driving cars. If you do go to Toyota of Naperville, I'd highly recommend test driving the Toyota RAV4. I have a review of that on my channel, and I actually really like that. It's sporty, it's fun, and the redesign looks really sharp. So head on over to Toyota of Naperville to check out either this BMW or just give it a test drive, help out the kids. It's much appreciated, and thank you again to Toyota Naperville. Their information is up on the screen. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something about the BMW 435i. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.